in Labrador, and we've got a good turnout tonight. So it looks like not too many people had difficulties finding us on Zoom. Thank you so much, all of you, for your patience yesterday. It was a challenge when we discovered that a lot of the things we had figured out how to do on Facebook Rooms only worked if you had fewer than 8 people in the room. And so kudos once again to Michelle and to David especially for adapting, but especially kudos to all of you for staying with us and being patient. I think that the Zoom platform, now that we've all found it, is going to work a little bit better for us because we'll be able to do a lot more demonstrating and sharing material with you in real time. So I'd like to begin, and this evening, in lieu of an opening prayer, there's no better way to start than to sing together. And once again, we're going to call on Vinny, who doesn't have to sing in real time, but who's recorded for us, Si vous lurit. And so we'll ask you to sing as loud as you can, with as much vigor as you can, but with your mute button on. Okay? And you'll see the score in front of you, and the tape rolls in a minute.
Si vous lurit, Isusi ifit, inut simi ubagulu, malihu magivabdi, tasi utikut, ilakilamut.
Okay, thank you. Thanks again, Vinny, for that. That was wonderful. Last night, we took a little bit of time at the beginning to orient ourselves with some protocols using Facebook Rooms. There are a few tiny differences when we're here on Zoom. And so I'm going to ask Michelle to give us a quick orientation on where the buttons are.
Hi, sorry, I'm trying to help someone in the chat.
So
That's okay. I'll be with Darlene in just a second. So the most important button is the mute button, which it looks like we've all found. The mute button is down on the bottom right, whether you're in the browser or on the app. So let's all unmute and then say our names and then mute again. All right, so let's all unmute. Everyone find it? Say your name. Michelle.
Ina.
Good. And let's all. Not me. You need to hear me. So that is one of the most important buttons. The other one.
Darlene.
Darlene. Woohoo! Can you hear me?
I can finally hear you.
Woo! Yay! I'm so happy to hear that. So great. So the other button that you might want to find is up in the top right-hand corner, and it says View. And this will let you go between speaker view and gallery view. So everyone should find that and test it out right now. That'll be really useful when David starts teaching, because then instead of seeing everybody on the screen, like in gallery view, you can go into speaker view and then you'll see David really big. And we will make sure that the screen that needs to be big is highlighted for everyone. But in the meantime, it's good for you to know where that is. And the chat you can access down at the bottom of your screen. You'll see the chat bubble there. And so you can click that to open the chat. And then you'll be able to get in touch with us if you need anything, like when Darlene needed a hand with her speakers. So yeah, I think that's all the important stuff, and everything else I'll take care of on my end. So. Thank you. Tom.
That's great. Thank you, Michelle. And if you have any questions at all, you can either wave your hand and we'll try to catch you, or use that chat button and pop a question in, and we'll be able to answer that really quickly. Good. So I think we're pretty close to ready to roll tonight, but we do have one or two people, I think, who weren't able to be with us last night, and we all had a chance to say hello last night and to offer just a couple of words about ourselves or what it is about music that's so important in our lives. And so I'd like to invite people who are joining us for the first time tonight to do that as well. And I think for sure, Doris, we missed you last night. Doris, do you want to say hi to everyone and introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Doris.
Good to see familiar faces and some new. The reason I wanted to take part in this workshop is because the organists are very valuable to the churches, and it's a lot to carry on your shoulders if you're the main person doing it. So the load can be shared.
Well, that's great, Doris. Thank you. And we hope that over the next while, you'll be able to acquire some of those skills to take on some of that sharing responsibility. And I also see Binky. Hi, Binky. Binky, you want to say hello to everyone?
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all and join in for the second workshop.
We're really sorry we missed you last night. There was a real snafu with Facebook. Somehow, I don't think Facebook wanted us to get together last night. It was trying to unfriend us, but we're glad you're here tonight. And Binky, of course, has got some good music background. She's played in the brass band in Nain, and I have even heard her play Inixolik on the organ. So she's got some skills ready to share with us too. And it looks like we've lost her. Anyway.
No, I'm still there.
Oh, you're still there. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Excellent. Is there anyone else who we've missed who hasn't had a chance to say hello? No? Okay. Well, listen, let's, oh, Nicole, yes? You're muted, Nicole.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
Try again.
Try again. You're muted again.
how about now?
Good.
Sorry about that. Yeah, we have Eliza with us tonight,
Oh,
who I don't think
right.
was there last night.
Thank you.
Okay, Eliza. Hi. Eliza, do you want to say hello? You look shy.
She might kill me for this.
Nicole, why don't you tell us something that's wonderful about Eliza? I'm sure there are a lot of things.
Well, she's a very gifted singer and
Great.
sang with the Penn Lab Choir. And she's my goddaughter, and I love her.
Oh, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
that's the best recommendation of all. Eliza, thanks for joining us. We hope you'll have lots of fun with us as well. Terrific. And so I think that's enough of the formalities, and that's going to give us a good chunk of time to have lots of fun tonight. And I know David's got some really exciting exercises for us, and we're going to keep working on Sivuli Loret and also pick up another tune tonight. So David, why don't you take it away?
Okay. So glad to be back, and so nice to be able to see all of the faces at the same time. That's really exciting. So Akamik for being here and for being so brave yesterday and today. So I'm going to ask you to find a way to be able to do this with your body. So wherever you're sitting, I'm sitting on a chair right now, so I can be very fluid. And I'm going to imagine I'm just kind of floating on a beautiful, I don't know, maybe it's a beautiful warm piece of water. Probably kind of hard to find this time of year, but you can imagine maybe. And so it's just a very fluid, and everything is feeling like it's not stuck anywhere. And then let your arms begin to sort of feel they can be very fluid as well. Almost like the waves on the ocean when it's not too windy. It's just a nice gentle motion like that. And then let's get our fingers going so that they're nice and supple as well. And we can make some nice motions there. Maybe cross your hands over and under and around. And it just reminds us that our bodies are really all very connected. When we're playing the keyboard, we're using fingers, but those fingers are connected to bones and more bones and more bones, and all of them are governed by muscles that really start way up in here. And so we want to be able to not feel locked anywhere, and we want to be able to feel that we can move whenever we need to. And it's important to just remind ourselves of that. So I'm going to ask us to just take a moment to breathe quietly, and I'll kind of keep a pulse. And I'm going to ask you to breathe in for 4, and then out for 4. And then in for 4 again, and out for 4. When you breathe in the next time, imagine something beautiful. In for 4, 1. And then out for 8. And then in for 2, 1. And out for 5, 1. That's good. And then just have a nice little, like that. Just a nice little breath and a sigh that says, everything is great. And sometimes that will help to calm us when we get a little bit anxious about trying to do something on the keyboard. So that can happen. And it happens to us in life all the time. And of course, we never want to be anxious because we're making beautiful music. And the beauty will come with that sense of a beautiful breath and a very calm demeanor. I'm going to suggest, Nicholas reminded me of something, and I did a different exercise, but a slightly different one. I'd like you to just simply turn your head and look around behind you as far as you can, and take note of what you can see back there. And then come back around here to the front. And now do the same thing on the other side. Just look around behind you and take note of what you can see out of the corner of your eye. And just what's there. I'm going to invite you to just take your right hand and put it on your right cheek and push, not too hard, but away, push your head, and you're going to be sort of holding and resisting. And let's just breathe in while we do that. And then breathe out again. And then do that one more time. So push really on your cheek as if you're trying to push your head around, but resist that. And back in again. And one more time. Push on your cheek. A little longer, and then out. Marvelous. Now take your left hand and do the same thing in the opposite way. So you're pushing away from yourself. Here we go. Around you go. Breathe in. Breathing out. This time, breathe in the most beautiful smell you can imagine. Maybe a beautiful dinner or a flower. And then breathe out. Maybe you go outside on a beautiful morning when the sun is out and you breathe in that fresh air. Breathe in one more time. And then breathe out. Just relax. Now look around behind you to the right again. Take note of what you can see. And then same thing over the left shoulder. Take note of what you can see in the very extreme corner of your eye. Yeah. Did anyone notice anything about that? What could you tell us about could somebody say what they noticed? Someone be brave. Maybe you didn't notice anything and that's okay, but I saw a few nods.
I found a pen I lost.
After
Great,
further.
that's marvelous. So you found something that you hadn't found before behind you. That's fantastic. Anything else anyone noticed? Difference from the first time you looked and the second time you looked?
I could turn my head further after the breathing.
Interesting, isn't it? So, and you maybe could see a little further around. So it felt like we maybe got rid of some of the tension in our necks. And of course, we don't want to have tension here because that's going to create tension in our arms and also in our fingers. So whenever you can get a chance, and it's really in this world with computers, and I've been online pretty well all day today teaching, and we get very sort of bunged up. So it's important. These little exercises are good to just find ways to take away some of that tension so that we don't end up trying to do something that can be injurious to ourselves. So I'd encourage you to do that as well as a warm up once in a while. Even if you're not playing the piano, it's good to do that. Nicholas, could you remind us of that wonderful exercise with the fingers that you said you did? You could lead that. Would you mind doing that for us?
Sure, I could give it a try.
Sure you can, yeah.
Well, I believe we first started with our right hand, right?
Okay, yeah.
And we wave with our first finger, known as our thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Wave to our friends. And then take your turn with your second finger.
Yeah.
As much as you can. And then your third finger.
Very good.
And your fourth finger. And this will be really important for when we play the piano together. And last, your final fifth finger. And I believe afterwards, you could take your finger from your other hand and just go gently spreading apart your fingers so that you massage each part in between and separate and loosen it up.
Wonderful. That's such a good thing to do. And then we can all wave at each other with our nice loose right hand. Nakumik, Nicholas, that's wonderful. Let's do the same thing with our left hand now. So we can wave with fingers. You decide which fingers you want to wave with. Maybe you could pick somebody and wave, mirror what they're doing. So I'm going to mirror, who can I see? I can see Doris, so I'll mirror her a little bit there. That's kind of fun. And then maybe you can mirror somebody else. That's great. And that just gets the fingers moving independently. And some of us may have some challenges with that moving of independent fingers, but it will come. It will come eventually. So just a little bit of exercise is always good to do before we play. And then, as Nicholas suggested, just massaging between, it helps stretch those fingers. I actually like to do my left hand a little more than my right hand because my right hand is my dominant hand. I use this a lot for writing and for cooking and stirring, and but this hand doesn't always get as much work. So it's good to give it a little more love sometimes, because my left hand needs the attention as well. So that just reminds us that our hands are going to be our instruments now, or the pathway to our instruments. And as Nicholas so wonderfully reminded us, these fingers have numbers. And so this kind of helps the folks that maybe had to miss last night, or it just reminds us as well, a little review. This is a finger number 1, finger number 2, finger number 3, finger number 4, and finger number 5. And eventually you just get used to knowing that and you don't have to be reminded, but you can be thinking in terms of those numbers now for the rest of our time together. Let's have a quick review, and I'm going to show you a couple of things that I wanted to be able to show last night. So pardon me, and I'm going to share my screen here. Now, this is a place where you might want to try to pin my screen. And so that word pin is an interesting one. And the way to do it, if you can do it, is to find, well, actually I have to turn no, I don't want to do that, is to find the screen that I'm in but I think you might have this big enough anyway. So you should be able to see now a picture. It says workshop 2. Can everybody see that okay? You can just give me a thumbs up that that's visible to you.
Yeah,
And if you want to make it a little
that's good,
bigger,
that's good.
it's all fine. And if you want to make it a bit bigger, you can possibly do that by pinning it, but I think it's probably big enough. Just a reminder here of the keyboard layout. And so we have the triplets, the groups of 3 black keys, and the twins, the groups of 2 black keys. And so, oops, I just moved that by mistake. And so we want to be able to find those on the piano. And last night we looked for them, and it's good to do that for your own practice. Just remind yourself where they all are on the keyboard. And they're easy to find, those groups of 2 black, and they become the kind of landmarks for the notes that we want to play. Very much of the time in hymn writing, in hymn singing and hymn playing, we're using notes that are here on the white keys, but sometimes we venture into the black keys as well. But I find that these keys are a great way to keep a landmark. It's kind of like I'm snowmobiling across a big wide open white space and there's a little rock and I say, oh yeah, that's now I know where I am. I know where I'm going. So I'm easy, I can find my way. So it helps us to be able to find our way. And those groups exist all over the keyboard. And the cool thing is, once we have a note named and the white keys have names on them, then we're able to always find those same names. So I'm going to show you another little layout here. So we discovered that the group of 3 black keys, oh, I forgot something. I forgot to remind us of something. Last night we remembered that on the left-hand side of the keyboard are the lower pitches. So this is the lower direction going left, and higher direction goes right. And so we're going to be thinking higher pitch to the right, lower pitch to the left. So if I'm looking at this thing, this diagram, the group of 3 black keys, you can see here, the note 1 step lower, 1/2 step lower, right there, that white key, that's called F. So I want you to find all the Fs on the piano now. You can use your right hand to do it, perhaps. And so I've got one that's here. So you go ahead and play them if you want to, that's okay. I've got an F there and there, and I've got quite a few. Some keyboards are shorter than others. We all have at least 2 or 3 Fs on the piano. So anywhere next to that group of 3. So that F is an important anchor note, a good place to be able to find. C is another anchor note that we're going to use tonight a lot. And so that C is the one that's at the bottom, right straight below the group of 2 black keys. Let's find all the C's with our left hand now.
David, I think everyone can unmute while we're looking for all the C's.
You can absolutely unmute if you want to. That's right. We can hear them. In fact, I might be able to unmute Michelle, you might be able to unmute everybody.
I'm on.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm flaking up. So there's the C, another one.
And I think everybody can hear that no matter where the C is on your keyboard, it sounds a little bit the same.
Very good, Tom. Thank you. That's neat. So we're all playing the same notes now. How about if we try something? This could be, I never thought of this. Let's try this. Let's all start on the lowest C we have. Mine is way down here. Let's see how many we can find. So here's the lowest one. And now let's play the next one up. And the next one up from there. The next one, and leapfrog one. The next one. And the next one. And you know, if you've got one of these Alesis keyboards that came in the airplane, there's going to be one more at the very top end of the keyboard, way up there. And that's a little hard to find because it doesn't have that group of 2, but it is another one of those C's. Fabulous.
Okay, I think I'm gonna mute everyone again because this is getting a bit chaotic. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fun though. It's
That was
fun.
really fun.
Okay. So
Can
I'm
I-
going to kind of leave you
This is
folks.
Lin-
Oh, was there a question? Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, this is Linda.
hi,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you. I noticed because I was practicing even before we all started that I noticed C notes are before the two keys or the twin keys, and F is before the triplet keys.
Yes.
Is that right?
Exactly. Isn't that
Okay.
great? So
It
it's a
is.
nice,
It
easy
makes
way
it
to find-
easier.
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you've got a diagram here for the other names of notes. And the good thing is there are only 7 names that we have to remember. I'm a person that has a really hard time remembering anybody's name. And the older I get, the worse that gets. But luckily with the piano, there are really only 7 keys to remember. So we know where the C is now, and we know where the F is now. For now, I'm going to ask us to find all of the A's on the piano as well. So have a look for those. You're looking for the group of 3 black keys, and A is the one directly below the top of the group of 3 black keys, the top of the triplets. So it's right here. So let's find a few A's on the piano. And there's a secret one way down at the bottom, way down there. And then they go up as well. So a great thing to practice on your own, especially if you're new to the keyboard, is finding all of the same names across the length of the keyboard. Maybe do it with your left hand and then try it with your right hand. So you're getting some flexibility and fluidity as to where those are. Stay muted. Okay. So with that, we're going to find with our 3rd finger in the right hand, can you play the F directly in front of you, the one in the middle of the keyboard? Should sound right there. And then can you find with your left hand 3rd finger, the A that's directly in front of you and below that F? And so those 2 pitches are the ones we should hear now. So I'm looking for this one, F, and that A right there, okay? And just to remind us now, you've got those there, and on the music sheets, the A here looks like this on this top line with this thing called the bass clef. And we'll review what all these are eventually, but just for now, to get into the playing, there's our A, that's what he looks like. And then there on the white key, the F looks like that on that space note. So a note that's in the space is the F, and this note down here on the top of the other clef, other set of lines is the A, or the sheets. So now we're going to play from last night's thing. I'm going to just make this a little bigger for us. There we are. I think you can see that okay. And it's just to sort of remind us of the way this sounds. And you of course know the hymn, we already sang it tonight. So I'll play. How about if we play along with me? So there's the left hand on the A, here's the right hand on the F. And remember, we're playing in contrary motion, opposite directions. So what I do I'm doing the same fingers in each hand. So we should sound like this. Here we go. Off we go. And now we move our hands so that now my left hand is on the F and my right hand is on the A. And we go. Okay, nice little review. Let's do that first line one more time. So right hand starts on the F, left hand starts on the A. And reminding that those half steps, I'm going in my left hand up to that black key. I'm going up there to find that. If you look for the little camera that says keyboard, you might be able to see my hands doing that too. So that's what you could look for. So here we go. First line again. and off we go. It's. And then we switch over and here we have this. And now we stay where we are and we go 3, 4, 5. And now we keep our left hand where we are and we put our right hand on both hands on the F now, the third finger. Left hand crosses over and they collide in the middle. And now just to remind you that that last line has the same music as the first line, different words, that's all. Here we go, 3. And then we move them apart and we're all set there. And that's so magical, it's so beautiful. And it sounded perfect. Everybody played it perfectly. So wonderful job. I'll show you one little tiny thing I added here. On the very last, we call these measures, the very last measure, you see that I've got this F here. This is my third finger. And then I've got these little notes that go underneath them. So this was 3, 2, 1. And if I add in my fourth finger on this little tiny note and my third finger back on the F again, I get a nice little harmony. For the last phrase, it sounds like this. 3, 4, 3, 4 and 2, and then 3 and 1. And it kind of gives a little more completion to the song. And it gives that bass line something that a bass would like to have singing. So let's just try our very last phrase. We're starting on the F in the left hand, on the A in the right hand, and here we go. And so that's something you could practice tonight and tomorrow when you want to get some things. But I'm going to keep going now because I'd like to show you something else we can do with this song. And kind of the next step along in some way. But before we do that, I'm going to just shut this screen off for a minute. There we go. Cool. So in our playing of pianos, what we do is we have 5 fingers. And another word for 5, if you think about that place in the United States that all the military people hang out in, anybody know what that's called? It's the place where all the generals kind of go and there's a big bunch of army things and all that. Does anybody know what that building is called?
Would that be the Pentagon?
That's the Pentagon, yeah. So the Pentagon, and it's, if you've ever seen a picture of it from the sky, it's got 5 sides. So penta means 5. And in music, we have something called a pentachord, 5 notes. So let's take our third finger in the right hand, put it on that F again. And then you've got right underneath your fingers, 5 notes. You've got the F, you've got the note below it, which is called E, and you've got the note below that, which is called D. So if we play, what we always name the pentachord, the 5-note pattern, by the bottom note. So this is a D 5-note pattern, and it goes like this: D, E, F, G, A. So fairly easy to do. So let's all play that D 5-note pattern with our right hand. Thumb on the D, thumb between the 2 black keys, between the twins in the middle. And here we go. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to ask you to do the same thing with your left hand, but if you play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your left hand, you'd have to play it upside down like that to play the same thing, which is kind of nuts. I'm sure there are people in the world who do that, but we invert it. So we're going to have the lowest note is the D with our 5th finger. So now you go 5, going up the piano, goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then to go back down, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or we play both together. So now we're not thinking so much in fingers, we're thinking of the names of the notes. So it's D, E, F, G, and A. And you already know the F, that's the one in the middle. Both 3rd fingers are on the middle on the F, which is really cool. So it's kind of another anchor. So let's try it. Starting on the D, between the 2 black keys, a 5-finger pattern in D. Here we go. Off we go. And. And then back down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or A, G, F, E, and D. Fabulous. Now, it's just possible, maybe, a couple of people, maybe, made it sound like this. And they weren't quite together. Anybody have that happen to them? I see a few nods and a few laughs. And you know what? That's perfectly normal. And so if that happened to you, it's okay. Nothing is going to fall out of the sky. The goal that you have is to see if you can get them to line up so that they are together like mine were. And so your little challenge to practice now is to coordinate your fingers so they work at the same time. And now, of course, they're not the same fingers anymore. So it's a little more, it's the next step in a sense. So let's try that again from the D. Here we go. D between the 2, see if you can keep them together. And nice and slow. G, A, and A, G, F, E, and D. And that's fantastic. Well done. Congratulations. Now, can we find the G on the piano? See if you can find the G. And maybe somebody could play their G for us. That would be really great. So remind you now, F is here, and the next door neighbor to F above is the G. Kind of cool. So it's like the alphabet, F to G. Could somebody play one of their Gs? Excellent. So our G will sound, might be down there, that's fine, or it might be here or here. Fantastic, fantastic. So now let's play a G 5-finger pattern. Okay, folks? So I've got my thumb on the G here in the right hand. I'm going to have my 5th finger on another G in the left hand. And you might want to play them two sets apart or 3 sets, it doesn't matter, wherever you want. I'm going to do it here so you can see in my camera. So it's the same thing. Now we're going G, A, B, C, and we end up on D now. We end up at the pitch where we started before. So let's try it. Here we go. And off we go. It's. That sounds a little different now. And then down. Let's do that one more time. I'm going to actually play with my left hand down another set. I'm going down a little bit lower for fun. Sound like a bass. And here we go. And. And then back down. That's cool. Let's play that really, really, really loud. Ready? As loud as you can. And to hit it harder. And now loud again. Back down the stairs. That's that's the way you play on Easter Sunday morning. But now maybe on a nice, beautiful, quiet sort of hymn, let's play it very quietly now, okay? And back down. Great. So in a sense, the more weight you give with your hand. I don't like to say hit, because I don't really want to be thinking about hitting anything, but we're making the louder sound by giving more weight to it. And so that's something we can think about a little bit too. Okay, gonna ask you to do one more thing, two more things. Can you find in the left hand, please, an F 5-finger pattern? So that's easy. You put your 5th finger on an F. And let's use that B flat again for our 2nd finger. So now in my left hand, I'm only going to play with my left hand. I'm going to get this. And then back down. Okay. Would somebody be able to play that for us, their version of the F? Be really great if someone would go unmuted and do that. Thank you, Sabina. That's fantastic. Could somebody else do it? That's a great example too. Good speed, not too fast. Could have a little competition. Somebody from another one of the communities. That could be cool. Sabina is wherever she is, and then someone else. Seems you like Inuit games, hey? All right. All right. Well, let's try it all together. Okay. So that F pattern. Here we go. Starting with just my left hand and. And then back down. Brilliant. That sounded fabulous. Now, can I ask you to notice where that B flat was? This is the one that was the black key, the top of the triplets, and we call that one B flat. The reason is, you remember where the B was there? Any note that's slightly below another one is called a flat. It's flatter than the one that we were on. So this is the B, and in music we say that's called B flat. And we'll talk more about that eventually, but I'd like you to put your 5th finger on that B flat now. And so now you're going to be playing a B flat 5-note pattern. And it might sound something like this. It'll sound a little different too. They all have slightly different qualities to them. We'll talk more about that as we go along. So let's all try that. 5th finger on the B flat. And then we walk up and back down. Here we go. And then back down. Fabulous. That's so good. Could you play it down the next level? So we're going to go down here now into what's known as the bass region. And that is we call that an octave apart because it's 8 notes away. But well, again, more information to come later. So now we're playing that B flat pattern down here. It should sound down in the bass region, like the basses in the choir, and then back down. So here's what I'd like you to do now. Go and find the F that is below that. And so it's way down there. And that sounds really good. And now what I'd like you to do is this. I'd like you to play 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 1. I'll do that again. So it's 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 1. Let's all try that on the piano. 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 1. Fantastic. Do that one more time in that F 5-finger pattern. 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 1. Now I'd like you to go and find the B flat 5-finger pattern. So again, my 5th finger on the B flat. And now we're going to play this. 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. I'll play it and sing it. 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. And let's all do it together. 1, 5, 4, 4, 1. Now, I'm going to show you what you just did. So let me share my screen, do this, and there you've got the music sheet for what you just played. So now what we've got is this lovely hymn, Sur la Laurit, and I've given you the bass line that the basses in the choir sing. So this is the way the hymn is actually written to be done. The way we did it before was another version, which works perfectly well, but this is the actual traditional bass line now. And so together they're going to sound like this. I've got my 3rd finger on the F in the treble, in the soprano part, and I've got my left hand on the F 2 sets of keys away. And now we put them together and they sound like this. We move to a new position. My left hand goes to the B flat 5-finger pattern. My right hand goes up to the A, and we have. Isn't that beautiful? It's so gorgeous. Let's all try that together. And you're starting on the Fs. And try it, and it might be a little hard. Let's go a little slower. And 2, 3, and go. And then the left hand moves to the B flat chord, and the right hand moves to the A, and it's this. That's so fantastic, folks. And now what happens is there's a bit of an excursion in the left hand. I'm going to leave you with this and challenge you to see how you do with finding these notes. You've played them all before, but it's going to sound like this. And there's, of course, lots of help from Michelle's wonderful musical scores. And it goes like that in the left hand. And then right here on this, there's a C 5-finger pattern. So let's all play what's coming up now. We've got the C on the 5th finger. We go to the next door neighbor up here and there, back to the C. We go up to the 2nd finger, and then we just walk, look there, 1 step at a time, right up the 5-finger pattern that you've already played. And where does it end up? Back on the C. Let's just do it right from here, okay? And I'll play the right hand too. So the end of the last phrase, it's low, and then 4th finger, 4th, 5, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. Now the cool thing is, you can already play the last line, sort of, because first of all, the F 5-finger pattern stays there for the whole time, and you already know the right hand, and you sort of played this already, except now it's slightly different order. Let's sight read it. Here we go. And 3rd finger starts in both hands, and it will sound like this. And then the right hand moves, but the left hand doesn't. And it ends up there. So I'm going to leave you with that. I know you can figure this out. You're all brilliant people. And I think there's some guidance there. And as I say, there's some help from what Michelle is doing. I'm taking a little longer than I intended, but I do want to sing with you Amazing Grace. We have a wonderful recording that Michelle should be able to share with us. And I think Nicholas is leading it too, which is really marvelous. And I'll stop sharing so you can do that, Michelle. That might be better.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this, folks. You're doing so well. How are you feeling? Everybody good? Have a little stretch? Have a little wiggle? Yeah.
All right, let's watch this lovely video.
You can sing along.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Michelle.
Nicholas.
Thank you, Nicholas. Nakumik, that was beautiful and how inspiring to be able to sing with you and see you. So that's kind of fun in this environment. And so our next little task tonight is to learn how to play that hymn now. And it's such a marvelous hymn and it's loved by people all over the world. It's one of the most popular hymns there is, in fact, across the globe, and sung in so many important ways. And so it's nice to be able to tap into that in this tradition as well. Can we find, and this piece is a really marvelously constructed piece of music. It's just amazing the way it's put together. Can you find the G5 finger pattern with your right hand? And so I'm looking for that G, which remind you is the one right above the F. And so if we've got our 5-finger pattern, we've got that. Now, part of the melody in Amazing Grace is written with this 5-finger pattern. So we can sing, you see if you can tell me what part it is. I'll play it again. What are the words there? I'll do it one more time. See if you can find the words. It's a nice little game. I like to play this game. Start in the middle of it. Anybody remember what the words are when you sing that melody?
I once was lost, but now I'm found.
Thank you, Binky Nachumik. I once was lost. Let's all sing it with me now. It's really a beautiful high pitch. It's a gorgeous sound there. So, I once was lost. That's fantastic. That on that G, what's that? That's called a G triad. It's 3 pitches in the G5 finger pattern, the thumb, the 3rd finger, and the 5th finger, or the 1st pitch, the 3rd pitch, and the 5th pitch. And so it's actually 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 1. You try playing it. 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 1. One more time. 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 1. Fabulous. Now I'm going to ask you to go and find a C 5-finger pattern. So the C is the one that's right below the group of 2 black keys. And so now we're going to play 2, 3, 5, 5, 3, 2. I'll do that. So you're not playing the triad anymore, but You're playing 2, 3, 5, 5, 3, 2. Let's try that. 2, 3, 5, 5, 3, 2. One more time. 2, 3, 5, 5, 3, 2. So that's but now I'm found. So let's start again from I once was lost, the G pattern. So we play in the G pattern. In the middle of that phrase, we move to the C pattern and we play the second part of it. So it sounds like this all together and looks like this. It's so cool. It's the same rhythm, the same length of notes in each part, but then different uses of the hand. Let's try that together. 1, and we go. I once was lost. Move to C, but you play the D. And now I'm found. That's so cool. I'm going to show you what that looks like. Oops. Just give me a moment. There we go. Fabulous. So we're looking here at, what happened to it?
Looks good, David. You might want to zoom out a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Up on the top.
There. Okay.
Gorgeous.
I think I'm missing one note in there. That's what happened. Okay, so actually it's sort of starting here, except I've made a tiny mistake in this. So it's just the way I've got it written down. So we're sort of here in the G pattern, and then we go into the C pattern here. So, but we're now going to start right here on our G pattern. So here we go, the G pattern, and you're playing 2, 5, and then you kind of make up what you're doing. I'll fix that next time. And then you move over here to the C. Sorry about that. All right. And so now we've got the middle part kind of learned. And I would like to show you what this is now. And I give this a label. Very quickly, what we're playing with, if you find that G pattern, I'm going to back up a bit. If you find that G 5-finger pattern, it's essentially looking like that. And we call that, and if we play with 1, 3, and 5, we get those 3 chords, those 3 notes together. And a 3-note pattern like that is called a triad. Much as we had a pentachord with 5 notes, we've got a 3-note thing called a triad. So when we've got the G on the bottom of the triad, we call it a G triad. If I sort of flip it over, and this is a little wonky, but if I flip it over and I have the top note on the bottom, sorry, the middle note on the bottom, and the top note in the middle, and the bottom note on the top, I get the same notes, G, B, and D, but now I'm playing G, B, and D. And so that has a different sound. So I'd like to see if you can do that. You're going to have your root position 1, the 5-note pattern, and then the first inversion, this is called, where we move everything down the keyboard. I put my 5th finger on the G, I put my 2nd finger on the D, and I put my thumb on the G, on the B, excuse me. And that's called an inversion. It's like it's turning upside down in a way. The bottom is now on the top. And now the second inversion of this triad, this is really cool, and it will help us play Amazing Grace perfectly. The second inversion is when the G is in the middle, and on the top is the B, and on the bottom is the D. So I'd like you to find that second inversion triad now. 3rd finger on the G, 5th finger on the B, thumb on the D. Would somebody be willing to go off mute and play? Let's all try going off mute and playing that. Let's see what it sounds like. We can do it 3 times in a row.
Eh.
All sorts of cool sounds. Isn't that fun? So be sure that you've got the 3rd finger on the G and the 5th finger on the B and the thumb on the D between the 2 groups of twins. There we go. That's cool. Fabulous. Fabulous. So that's something you're going to look for, practice a little bit. And now with that, it gives us the ease of playing. Actually, I'll do it this way. It gives us the ease of playing that first part of the melody. It's that D. So it all fits right under the hand that way. Let's try, just see what happens if we try playing it. It might go a little awry, but it might not either. Here we go. Now we move to the 5-note pattern of G, which is here. It's a little weird, but now we've got that melody as we know it. I once was lost. You move to the C pattern with your D on the 2nd finger. Now switch back to that G chord, that G 2nd inversion, and we end up at the end with what we started with. And we walk down to home. And you hold on to that nice long note. So that's a little bit of a challenge, I realize, a little bit rushed. I'd love to have lots more time to do that with you, but we'll look at it tomorrow night, I promise. And tomorrow night, we're going to start using our left hand with this piece as well. So that's there for you to sort of think about, have a go at finding those. And we have some wonderful videos to watch and play along with. So maybe you'll have time to do that before tomorrow night. I've gone a little bit over, but I'm going to stop now. Are there any questions that are burning, or if you that you would like to ask so that we can clarify anything? And I'm happy to stick around afterwards too. Not seeing any waving of hands. Good. Oh, there's a little hand wave. Hi, Sabina. What do you need to know?
Are we cheating if we put stickers on where the keys?
No, absolutely not. There's no such
I'm
thing.
gonna
as
get
cheating.
stickers tomorrow. Say this is.
Yeah, it's hard to remember everything, isn't it? And there's a lot to remember, but sure, by all means, put little stickers with the names. If that helps you, that's a fine idea. And you can always put them there and then take them off later or something. So whatever.
So it will be the same with notes, wouldn't it? Like I would have the letter C there and then the note C on the music sheet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can
Yeah.
do that. That's fine. And eventually we get used to things. It's just like anything else. I was thinking, you know, if I were to be able to go back to Hopedale and drive on a skidoo, I know although I do drive a motorcycle, I know my first journey on the skidoo would be very erratic, and I'd start in it. It'd be like a jackrabbit start, right? But eventually I'd know how to do it. I'd know how much pressure to apply. I'd learn how to do it. And it just takes some time. And all of these things take time. So, and everybody's different, how long it takes. So whatever it takes, whatever you need is perfectly fine. It's okay. And help each other. Certainly ask questions of other folks in your communities.
David, thank you so much. That's been great. And we've covered a lot of material. Don't forget that there are videos on how to practice each of these tunes that are on the Facebook site. So you can use that as an aid as you take your practice time in 5-minute doses tomorrow. Now we're going to move over to Miss Kelly, who's joined us. And Kelly, what have you got for us tonight?
Hey, everybody. I'm just looking does anybody know how to go back to Google, to your Chrome tab, and get the history of what you had opened? Because I had all of these things opened and now they're gone. Somebody I bet knows how to do
Ellie,
that.
it's Michelle. Hey.
Hey.
When I hit history in Chrome, so up in the top of Chrome, it's File, Edit, View, and then History. And it shows me my recently closed tabs.
Yay!
Hooray!
7 tabs. Open them all.
Open them all. Put them all
So,
up.
Michelle, did anybody share your really great news?
No.
So I would first of all like to share that Michelle has been nominated for an East Coast Music Award for her engineering. And her
Congratulations.
Hey.
Thank you.
Woohoo! So fabulous. So everyone, as I said, Doris, it's so nice to see you. As I said last night, that kind of my job, and although I never think of it as a job because I love doing it so much, it's like my life. And Daniel and Anna, what we're going to work on and to kind of support people with is learning how to read music and learning theory and learning, you know, how can I pick up a piece of music and eventually be able to look at that music and not have to have the notes written in or not have to have the fingers written in. But I want to start by saying, am I speaking too loudly? Does it sound like I'm yelling? No? Okay. I find sometimes on Zoom, I'm talking like this and everybody's like, oh, you're yelling. So the first thing I want to say is that being a great musician and being able to do something, to play, to sing, to be part of a musical ensemble, and knowing music theory have nothing to do with each other. You do not have to know music theory in order to be an incredible musician. And so I wanted to start by sharing what, you know, some people who we probably did not expect, you know, don't know how to read music. So can you see this sheet that says 7 famous musicians?
Yep.
Yep. So 7 famous musicians who cannot read one note of music. Elvis Presley never ever knew how to read music. Michael Jackson didn't know how to read music. Eric Clapton. The Beatles, not one of them knew how to read music. Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen, Robert Johnson. So none of these people were able to read music. So the most important thing for you to know is that if you come away from this not knowing how or thinking, I don't really want to take this on, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to make incredible music. So one of the things I have been teaching and trying to teach how to read music for a very long time. And there's a lot of books and there's lots of activities, but the reason why I think so many people have a little bit of a difficult time is because they think that learning how to read music is kind of like, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to be able to do it. But it's not. Learning how to read music is almost like becoming somebody who is an expert at making an incredible craft. So for example, you are not going to decide one day, I'm going to be an incredible person at making a craft, or, you know, it's the same thing as learning a skill a little bit at a time and building upon that skill. And so that's why so many people who try to do this think, I'm not good at this, because if they try 3 or 4 times, or if they try for a couple of weeks, it's not all making sense. In actual fact, it just takes a little bit more time and a little steps at a time instead of trying to understand all of this stuff all at once. So no program is perfect, but I have found an online program that kind of helps build a little bit at a time. And it doesn't mean you can't do some of the other stuff, like David is talking about triads and he's talking about whole tones and half tones, and we can do exercises that are going to help people understand all of that. But I think if anyone is interested in learning how to be able to pick up a piece of music in 6 months or a year and have never heard it before and will be able to sit at the piano and do it, we've got this program I'm going to show you tonight. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm really excited. I got this new program that I'm able to do this with. Let me see, is it going to work? Oh, it's working. Okay. So if we take the time to start at the very, very beginning, eventually you will be able to look at this and say, okay, that's a treble clef. And this is a bar line here. And you will be able to say, this is G and this is D. And you'll be able to say, oh, this is a longer note because it's not colored in and it's got a dot. So all of these things, you just learn a little bit at a time so that then you can eventually look at a piece of music that has all of those little tiny pieces of information that you put together to be able to read it. So what I wanted to do tonight, because I also don't want to make people do this program, and we actually are going to, you know, if we're going to do this, we're going to buy everybody. You have to buy a license for every person, and we want to do that. But I want to know if you actually want to do this. So I thought tonight I'd spend a little time and I'd show you this program, and then maybe you can think about it and we can have a chat tomorrow, because there's also lots of other ways to do this. But this has been the program that has really worked for me. So I'm going to share my screen and through theory. And let's see, there we go. It's a program that I think it's about 2 or 3 years old. And it's put together, oh, what's going on? There we go. Oh. Logging in. Let's see.
Maybe you can refresh that other page, Kelly, and it might recognize that you're logged in.
Oh, don't tell me. Okay,
Oh, no.
I don't refresh.
Kelly, I have the password. It's is this the junior one?
Yeah.
Okay, junior is as a student is username Shalloway Junior, password wind604.
1 second. So access ID. Sorry. Pardon?
Oh, sorry.
The ID is Shalloway Junior.
That's the username.
Okay. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry about this. Let me see. Did you say Michelle?
You can try to refresh the page if you've logged in.
No.
Okay.
Kelly, maybe make a new account. Just press register.
No, I know what I'm going to do. I can do it. I think I can do it this way. All right. Can you all tell that my heart is up in my throat now?
Don't worry about it. We're chilling. Anna, do you have an access ID for this?
I do. I have one for myself. Everyone's given one when we register.
Anna, can you give me yours and see if it works?
Yeah. I think I have it for the second program.
That's all right. Just try it. Let me try.
Okay. Salad hashtag fade.
Hashtag spell it.
FADE.
No.
Rats.
Okay. So.
I'm logged in on my computer. Maybe I can share the screen and you can explain.
Or I can get you Annabelle's access ID.
Well, maybe we can do that. Deantha, you can try it, and Anna will log in, and then Anna, I'm going to tell you certain things to hit, okay? There we go.
All
Sorry,
right,
everybody. So while Anna's doing that, I'm going to let you know that this can be accessed on your phone, on a computer, on an iPad, and it has all different levels that starts with the very, very basics.
I got it.
Oh, are you on it?
I have Annabelle's access ID. Access code.
I think that it's not connected to my email, so Anna, it's probably better if Anna can share it.
I think that's probably the student one, Deantha, but thank you.
So it starts right from the very, very beginning, and then it goes all the way up to if you were to, say, do a degree in music. So it really covers from the very beginning, which is the lines on the staff and the names of the notes and all of those things, and goes right up to if you were, somebody yesterday was speaking about, you know, their son was thinking about doing music. And so this would be something that your son would be doing in first or second year university on theory. So again, it's a long time program, but for our purposes, the first few chapters are really fabulous. So Anna, are you looking where to hit? Right down through there, right there, no. Breezing through that square right there, yeah. Okay. So if you go to content and you go up to the right-hand side, the little book that's up there, yeah, that's perfect. And chapter 1, the staff. Okay, so just wait 1 second now, Anna. Every single chapter, it tells you what you're going to learn about. It has lessons and drills and games and a play that tune, which we won't do. So if you go to the very bottom of the screen, it says chapter 1 and it's got that arrow. So can you click that, Anna? Fabulous. And it starts off, let's click pitch and the staff. Okay, so 1 second now. So every lesson, the very cool thing about this is lesson 1, it says pitch and the staff, and you can see that it shows that it has 5 lines and 4 spaces. But what I love about this is that it also has somebody that talks to you and guides you through it. All right, so Anna, can you click that icon? Yeah.
Pitch is placed on a staff of 5 lines and 4 spaces to indicate how high or low it sounds.
And again, the wonderful thing is that you can listen to it once, or you can listen to it 5 or 6 times so that it really, really kind of settles in. So click it one more time, Anna.
Pitch is placed on a staff of 5 lines and 4 spaces to indicate how high or low it sounds.
Okay, now Anna, go to the screen that goes down, the arrow that goes down, and you click that, that's the next part. So the pitch of a note sounds high if it sits high on the staff or low if it sits low on the staff. Can you play that, Anna?
The pitch of a note can sound high or low. The higher it sits on the staff, the higher it sounds. The lower it sits on the staff, the lower it sounds.
Fabulous. Now go to the next lesson. The musical alphabet, 7-letter names represent the pitches and the lines and spaces on the staff. So go ahead, Anna.
The musical alphabet has 7 letter names: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And these represent the pitches and the lines and spaces on the staff.
Oops, I'm interrupting the teacher. So the thing again that's so fabulous about this particular program is that you get to hear the sound, you get to hear her speaking, and you get to read it. In any kind of a theory book or anything, you know, any papers we give out, you learning music theory, you never ever get a chance to actually hear the notes that happen. So that's really fabulous. Okay, go to the bottom one more time, Anna. Yeah, that's the end. Go ahead.
The grand staff includes the treble clef and the bass clef. Middle C sits on the line between the 2 clefs and is a common pitch reference for many musical concepts.
Thanks, Anna. Can you go back up to the little book up in the corner now? There we go. So we're going to go back to the staff, chapter 1, and go back down to the chapter 1, that little arrow. Fabulous. Okay, can you scroll up a little tiny bit? Now you'll notice, let's go to the mad dash where I can see that.
Oh, sorry, I might have your fate. Oh, no.
No, you just got to scroll down a little tiny bit.
Oh, sorry.
Here we go. Mad dash, treble clef. So here is, again, a really important feature is that you get to practice this. So Anna, can you, naming the notes within the staff, can you click on that one? Yeah. Perfect. All right, can you do redo drill? Now we're going to check out Anna's skills. So 1 second. So label each note with the correct letter name. Now, by the way, I just did, 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes of all of this. You would not be able to do this right away because it takes a little bit of time, a few times a week, but I just want to make sure you can see how the program works. So after you've listened to those different lessons, then you actually have something that you can practice. And again, it's fun on your phone or your iPad or your computer. So Anna, can you start that drill? And then you'll notice what she's going to do is Anna's going to click on the note that she thinks the note name is. Okay, so you have to start the drill over on the side.
Is that this one here?
I think it's the other one.
Oh no, that's an.
Oh no, you just do it actually. So go ahead. Here you go. Are you nervous, Anna?
Oh yeah. I hope I don't press the wrong button. Maybe I should just to see what happens.
Well, it won't show you anything yet.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to go out of that, Anna. You can go down to the bottom, the little X on the left-hand side, the very bottom. So she doesn't want to submit that. I will have lots more time to review this more carefully. So go back and click the X again. Tonight is just a demonstration of this theory program. And then I want to show you one other thing. Can you go down, please, Anna, keep going down to games. Can you click the game? There we go. And so, can you press play? Thanks, miss. And this is another way to practice. So these are 2 or 3 different ways to practice building that skill of reading music a little bit at a time. Okay, go up to stick in the staff. Okay, I'm ready. Buttercup. You can turn the sound off if you want. And so what you do is up in the corner is the name of the note, and you have to press the note that you think is the name. Go ahead, Anna.
Oh, sorry.
Now, Anna, can you do one wrong? See what happens when you get one wrong. Okay, so you can stop there for Anna, thanks.
Sorry, I wasn't sure how to turn the music off.
No, I just mean if people didn't want to listen to it, they could.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing, Anna, can you go back up to the book up in the corner? We're doing a great job tag teaming. Now, can you go to the piano keyboard, which is chapter number 4? So you also can go back and forth. So if David has talked about something and you're like, I want to know a little more about that, I want to read a bit more about it, I want to see a bit more about it, you can actually go to a different chapter. You don't have to do just chapter 1. You can do chapter 1 and go to chapter 6 and chapter 4. So Anna, can you go to the bottom and press there? Yeah, that's it. Piano keyboard. Actually, go to hold. Oh, no, that's okay. Yeah, go back.
Yeah,
Chapter 4 at the bottom. Go to, oops. Oh, sorry. You got to go back up to the chapter, up to the little, yeah, chapter 4. Yeah, that's it. And can you go to half steps and whole steps, which is something that David was chatting about last night. Okay, so can you play that lesson?
Sure.
The piano uses whole steps and half steps to build melodic patterns. The half step is the smallest interval in Western European music, and on the piano, it's the distance between any 2 neighboring keys. Listen to these examples. F, F sharp, B, C.
Okay, can you go back into chapter 4? There we go, and open up the chapter. And can you just, actually, I was going to show you, they even have a song that you associate those two pieces with, those 2 whole steps and half steps. But we can do that a little bit more. So Anna, do you want to stop sharing your screen? And Anna, I owe you I don't even know what I owe you for getting this, because I thought I was like, oh, everyone's going to think I'm horrible. So I just want to say that this is an introduction to what I think is a really great program. And over the next few weeks, myself and Anna and Daniel, we can meet with you and have time in small groups and go over these things. And, you know, by the end, help people come to a real comfort level with reading music. So hopefully, I'd just love you to think about that, if that's okay. And I'm sure we can be super flexible. If some people just want to do a few worksheets, we can do that. If some people want to download this, whatever you feel best about. I'm really, really excited that we're going to get a bit of time together. And for me, there's nothing more exciting than to help people feel like this is not something that everybody should have access, can have access to this. It's just the right kind of material and the time to do it. And then the world of music is open up to you. Okay, so I'm going to end there, and I'm really excited to start working with everybody on this.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was a whirlwind introduction, but I think we all got a good sense of how much fun and how instructive and helpful that program can be. So I just want to emphasize what Kelly has said, and that is that the project will purchase a subscription for you for this program if you think you'd like to use it. As Kelly said, you don't have to learn to read music, but we know that many of you want to learn, and this will be a way that can help you do that. And you can use it at your own pace, at your own time, and we will also support you in it as you're working your way through. So we're going to have another opportunity, I think, tomorrow night to play around a little bit more with this, and then we'll also give you the opportunity to decide, is this something you want to do? Because as we said, we're very happy to get subscriptions for everybody for this. So we've run a little bit over tonight, but I'm glad to see everybody still here. I hope that you feel like you've learned a lot. I also suspect that you feel like you might have learned too much and got a lot of information tonight. Don't worry, it's going to sink in. And also remember, you can go back to the Facebook site. The whole session is recorded. It'll be available through our YouTube site there. And also there are some really helpful little videos that Michelle and David have made that you can see the keyboard and you can practice Si vous l'aurait and Amazing Grace. And then we'll meet again tomorrow night and continue. Also, thank you so much for transferring with us to Zoom. Looks like everybody's been comfortable with it. It seems to have worked pretty well for everyone. So same time tomorrow night, same URL code, and enjoy playing with your keyboards between now and then. Nakamik. If anyone wants to stay on and has any questions, we'll stay on for a couple of more minutes. But otherwise, see you all tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ako lagi mga